It's the first inaugural Be More Ball Expo 2025. 3-day show, August the 8th through the 10th. Meet makeup artists, ball brunch, ball-headed gala, ball-headed marketplace, networking, ball speed dating, beautiful ball women, ball boxes and swag, ball-headed skincare, makeup artists, ball fashion show. It's all happening at the DoubleTree by Hilton BWI, August 8th through the 10th. It's the first inaugural Be More Ball. For more information, call Malika at 410-298-0661. That's 410-298-0661. Or click on naturalhaircareexpo.com. It's the first inaugural Be More Ball Expo 2025.
The all-new WMEG Radio.
Audible Aunties. Sports.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Empowering Others to Excel. I am your empowerment strategist, Jacqueline Jobs. We are live today at WMEG Radio, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, if you have not gone to my pages and follow or subscribe, please do so now. Thank you in advance for tuning in today's segment. We have a nice topic for today. We have a very nice topic for today. All right, so just to get started, that if you want to call in during this segment, you can call in at 443-267-6558. I'll be saying the number again, 443-267-6558. Today, our topic that we're going to discuss is shifting fear to faith. Shifting fear to faith. All right, now, before we jump into this week's topic, I want to review last week's topic. Last week's topic, we was talking about how internal dialogue, what we say to ourselves every day, can either lift or hold us back. Now, we had two different homework assignments for last week. One was post a positive affirmation to reframe negative talk. And then the second one was a goal setting. Now, for the post a positive affirmation, what you were supposed to do is pick one negative thing that you say about yourself on a regular basis. And then you were to switch it. You were to reframe it into a positive. And once you reframe it into a positive, you were supposed to post that positive around your house. So you were supposed to post it either on the mirror in your bathroom, on the refrigerator, in your car. You can put it inside of your phone and set a timer so that it goes off at certain times a day. And when that positive affirmation pops up or when you see it, you're supposed to say it. And then it is supposed to encourage you and help you to motivate yourself to keep moving, to keep pushing, and to keep persevering, and to think positively about yourself. That was one of the homeworks from last week. And then the other homework that we had from last week was the goal setting homework. And that one was identify one thing you want to change about yourself. Write it down. And then after you identify that one thing that you wanted to change about yourself, write down the steps that it would take for you to do that change. What steps would you need to do in order to make that change? After you identify the steps, then you were supposed to write down any obstacles that you foresee happening because you decided that you wanted to make that change. Because we know in life, when we decide that we want to switch things up and we want to make a change for the better, there was always an attack that comes from it, because there are people in our lives who want us to stay stagnant and where we are. The enemy doesn't want us to win. So there's a lot of things that come at us when we decide, guess what? I'm going to change my life for the better. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to live this way. I'm going to say these things. There is an attack that come against you. You might have your friends say, oh, you switching up on us now. Oh, you don't want to hang out with us. You too good. You too good. No, that's not it. I'm just changing my life. Now, if you want to jump on this bandwagon of changing our lives, let's do this. But if not, let me do what I'm doing and you continue to do what you're doing. Don't try to put me down. Don't try to pull me back to where you are. I'm moving forward. So let me move forward. But some people don't want to do that, because if you stay where you are and they stay where they are, then they have that friend. But then if you decide I want to grow, then they're looking at you like, oh, you're either leaving me, oh, she's too good for me, or they're like, oh, now she's growing. I can't use her and abuse her, or use him and abuse him the way I used to, because now their eyes are open and they see things differently. So a lot of times the enemy is going to come in and try to shut down that growth. So I wanted you to identify different obstacles that you think are going to happen. And then I want you to write down, how can you avoid those obstacles? How can you avoid those obstacles, or how can you overcome those obstacles when they come? Because some things are going to come. I don't care how you plan for it. It's going to come. It's going to happen. So I want you to already have it in your mind. This is going to happen, and this is what I'm going to do when it happens. Because if you don't already have that in your mind, when it happens, it's going to make you take a couple steps back. And then it's going to make you question, is this really for me? Should I be doing this? But if you already have in your mindset that this is where I want to grow to, this is where I want to move forward to, and I already know that A, B, and C is going to happen, but guess what? I got a plan for A, B, and C. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And so that way, when that obstacle comes, you're going to shut it down. Shut it down. You're not going to entertain the thoughts. You're not going to entertain the negativity. You're not going to entertain the hate. That you're not going to entertain it. You're going to shut it down, because you already prepared yourself. You prepared yourself mentally. You prepared yourself physically for this obstacle. So therefore, if you identify the obstacles that are going to happen or what you think might happen, you'll be ready for them. And then after you identify those obstacles and you identify how you're going to overcome those obstacles, I want you to think of a timeline for how long you want to set this goal for. And then I also started off, we're going to jump to a week. Start with a week first, and then see how it goes from there. And then by the end of the week, you're stopping and you're reflecting to see, did this work? Like, what do I need to change? I need you to not be afraid to make changes. You can set out and say, my goal is this. But after you realize after that week progressed and the obstacles came, you needed to tweak your goal a little bit. Did I say you're going to stop trying to work on that goal? No, I did not. I said you're going to tweak it. You're going to change it a little bit. You're going to put in some different resources, some different activities, whatever you got to do to make that goal work for you. So that is what I wanted you to do last week. So hopefully a lot of you actually did that assignment, those 2 assignments. You posted your affirmations around the house, your positive talk around the house to encourage you and motivate you. And I hope by the end of the week, you would like, oh, I feel good. Like, this is a good thing. I'm going to keep this going, because that is the whole plan, is for you to keep going with that. So that means this week you're going to post a new one. And if you got to stick with the same one from last week, that's fine as well. Stick with the same one from last week. But I want you to continue to encourage yourself the best that you can. And that is just one step to encouraging yourself. It's posting the affirmations and encouraging yourself. When you see them, read them out loud, speak that life into you. And then the second one was the goal setting. And that's just because you wanted to make a change in your life for the better. So you had to create that plan, and you had to move and do the actions in that plan to make that goal work. So hopefully those 2 assignments benefited you last week. Now you're going to get new assignments this week. So you just keep working on all of the assignments. Okay, so now today we're going to be discussing how to shift from fear to faith. How to shift from fear to faith. We'll talk about what fear is, how self-doubt keeps you stuck, and how to intentionally shift towards faith. Faith in God, faith in yourself, and faith in your purpose. Now, to start off, we're going to identify what is fear. We're going to identify what is fear. Fear is a natural emotion. Now, everybody has this natural emotion of fear, but it depends on what you do with it, what the outcome is going to be. And I'm going to break that down for you. Fear serves a purpose by alerting us to danger. So that is most of the time when we are like, oh my goodness, your body, your senses are alerting you to danger. It is helping us to make cautious decisions. It's like when you're a child and they say, don't touch because it's hot, and you touch it and now you realize, oh, that burnt me. So now you're like, I'm not touching that anymore. So fear comes to alert us of danger. And then it also helps us to make sound decisions. But when fear is your driving force behind your choices, it limits your growth, holds back your potential, and locks you inside of a mental and emotional cage. Now, just think about being inside of a physical cage. Nobody wants to be in a cage. You can't go to the left, to the right. Most of the time, the cage is just that size for you to fit in it. That is not where you want to be. Do not want to be locked down to the point that you cannot move, you can't function, you can't do anything. So that is what we're going to break today. We're going to break that fear from you today. We're going to shift it from fear to faith. Now, fear shows up in so many forms. We're going to talk about a few of the forms that how fear shows up. First is procrastination. Putting things off because you're afraid to fail. It's called fear of failure. I'm not going to do this because I don't think I'm going to be successful at this. Or you have something that you're supposed to do and you put it off to the last minute because you don't feel comfortable doing it. You think that once you do it, it's not going to turn out the way you want. That is why people procrastinate for the most part. And that is a fear of failure. You putting things off because you think you're going to fail. The next one is overthinking. Overthinking. And sometimes overthinking can be a good thing when you're trying to rationalize, should I do this? But when you're trying to predict how something's going to come out to avoid making the wrong move, and you're overthinking, no, if I do this, no, if I do this, oh my goodness, but if I do this, that is fear. That is fear. And that fear is holding you back. So I want you to think about that. We talked about procrastination, putting things off because you have a fear of failure. Then we have overthinking things. And that is when you're just overthinking it to the point that you don't want to make the wrong choice. So you're just not going to do anything. That is fear. Then you have the what if spiral. What if spiral creates anxiety about things that may never happen. What if I do this? But what if this happened? And now I have an issue with the what if spiral. And sometimes when I'm talking to my husband, John Tay, he's like, oh my goodness, Jackie, like get it together. But my thing is driving. I don't know why when I'm driving, I have so many scenarios in my head. Like, what if this car crossed this lane and then it hits me and I flip over? And then what if this and what if this? Now, I'm not afraid to drive because I will drive. And they also say I have a heavy foot. I remember when I went to driving school, the instructor told me not to get, what was it? I think it was a Mustang. He was like, don't you get that? He was like, because you have a heavy foot. You can't get anything. And I'm like, at this point, I can't get anything small. I can't. Because I'm just like, zoom, zoom, zoom. So I know I don't have a fear of failure, but it's that what I'm always thinking, what if this, what if this, what if this? And then it's like, but then I had to stop and think. It is kind of a fear for me because I just don't want that to happen. But then I start overthinking it. And so now I have to always think positive, like we're going to make it to this destination. Nothing's going to happen. I plead the blood of Jesus over all the cars around me. We're going to make it. We ain't going to have no issues where I got to be sitting here thinking, what if, what if, what if? So I had to negate that fear. Next one is avoidance, stepping away from challenges or relationships. Stepping away from challenges or relationships because of your fear. So you have friendships that you had, but you're afraid of what's going to happen if you progress with that friendship. That is a fear. Now, if you already know there's red flags or something like that, then okay, yes, back away. But I'm just talking about if you're like, I don't know, what if this, I'm just not going to come around that person anymore, this, that, and the other. When you're avoiding a situation, most of the time you're avoiding the situation is because of fear. That's just like people who work in, I'm going to say they work in different offices, they work in different buildings, and they avoid going around a certain corner because somebody's desk is there and they don't want to see them. It's because of fear. Like they don't want to have that conversation with them. They don't want that person to see their flaws, whatever it may be. When you're avoiding, it's because of fear. And then we have finally for this section, self-sabotage. Self-sabotage, ruining opportunities before they can succeed, setting up a roadblock. And when I say self-sabotage, I mean you have a good thing going, but you figure out and somehow in your mind, oh, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. So I'm just going to stop right here. That is self-sabotaging yourself. Just like I could have self-sabotaged myself for this chance to be on WMEJ. Opportunities presented to me, I could have been like, no, I'm not capable of doing that. Like, no, nobody's going to tune in. Nobody's going to listen to me. That's self-sabotage. But see, I didn't do that. I jumped on the opportunity like, oh, this opportunity is being handed to me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it. So that is what is the opposite of self-sabotage. And I need you all to understand that and see that. Now, for fear is often rooted in past experiences, negative self-talk, lack of belief in self or in God's promises. Now, if you're following me right now, if you're listening to WMEG, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, I want you to drop in the chat, call in, or just tell me what is a fear that you have. What is a fear that you have? Because by the end of this segment, we're going to change that fear to faith. We're going to show you how to have faith to overcome that fear. So if you have a fear that you want to share, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Now, past experiences, they can cause pain or embarrassment. So something could have happened to you in your past that caused you a lot of embarrassment, that caused you a lot of pain. So now, every time you think of that situation or that event, you're fearful. So I want you to think back over your life or think back of any time you have this particular event and you start sweating, you start getting anxious. Think about it. Why is this happening? What happened to me in this scenario before? Why am I so fearful? Think about that. And then I want you to figure out how you can relinquish that fear. Let that fear go. Then we have negative self-talk. We talked about negative self-talk last week. So I know I don't have to refresh you on the negative self-talk. Repeating limited beliefs. When you speak negatively to yourself, you are embedding that doubt inside of you. And when you embed that doubt inside of you, that doubt can grow to fear. So when you say, I can't, that's because you're doubting yourself. And then that doubt grows into fear, basically saying, I won't. So we're going to negate that with positive affirmations, positive talks about ourselves. Then we have lack of belief in self and in God's promises. A lot of times we can sit and say, I don't think I'm capable of this. And that's a lack of belief in yourself. But you have to realize that we are equipped with so many things. It amazes me that we are equipped with so many skills, so many talents. We have so many different resources that we can go out and accomplish so many things that we never thought possible. But because we continue to put that limitation on ourselves, we continue to put ourselves in that box or that cage, and we're letting that fear run our lives, that we don't see the opportunities that are around the corner. We don't see how wonderful we are because we are limiting ourselves, our beliefs in ourselves. And then if you limit your beliefs in God's promises, God promises to us a whole lot of things. And if you stay fearful, you're not going to open up your heart to receive those promises. So I want you to think about that as well, because we must recognize fear for what it is. And what is it? It's a voice that doesn't deserve to lead. It's a voice that doesn't deserve to be heard. We need to quiet that voice. And then how do we quiet that voice? Through faith, through truth, and through intentional actions. Faith, truth, intentional actions. So you need to have faith in yourself first and foremost. Because if you don't have faith in yourself, nobody else is going to have faith in you for anything else. So you need to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith in God. You need to know the truth, understand the truth, speak the truth. And then if somebody doesn't speak the truth to you or over you, guess what? You're going to refute or rebuttal what they said, and you're going to speak truth over you. And then last one, intentional actions. You got to move. You got to do something to break that fear. Because if you stay stagnated, that fear is going to stay there. It's going to linger over you. It's going to hover like a dark cloud. You just imagine back in the day, we had the little cartoons, and when the person was upset, depressed, sad, that little dark cloud came above their head. That's what fear is doing right now. It's just lingering there, that dark cloud. Wherever you go to the left, you go to the right, it's there. It's hovering. And the fact that it's hovering means that it's blocking something. It's blocking something. That dark cloud is blocking the sun. So you're not getting that sun. You're not getting that life. You're not getting that truth. You're stuck in that spot. You're inside of that box. You're boxed in. Your mindset has to shift in order to break the fear. Your mindset has to shift, because right now, just picture this. You're inside of a box. My kids love to play with the cardboard boxes. They make forts all the time. So imagine you have a box that's your size, and that box is over top of you like a shell, like a turtle shell. And you're staying in that box because you're fearful. And then one day you decide, oh, I'm going to get a little brave, and I'm going to step and stick my foot out there. But then it's like, oh, nope, you put your foot back inside the box. So now you're back in that box. See, and fear wants to keep you in the box. Fear wants to keep you in the box. Now, it is okay to take baby steps. But when I say take baby steps, I mean you can stick that right foot out and let that toe come outside that box. But then the next day, your heel needs to be outside the box. And then the next day, half of your leg needs to be outside the box. Then your kneecap needs to be outside the box. So you're going to keep taking those steps to get yourself outside of the box. And how do you take those steps? Your mindset is changing. And how is your mindset going to change? Your mindset is going to change because you're going to start believing the truth about yourself, the truth about the situation, the truth about the event that made you fearful, the past experience that made you fearful. You are going to start realizing the truth behind all of those things. So just for example, if somebody is afraid to open up their heart to love, you stop and think, why am I afraid to open up my heart to love? Why am I so fearful of this? And you have to realize, you have to figure out why you're fearful of this. What happened that caused me to be fearful of this? And then you might stop and think, I opened my heart up before and somebody broke my heart. Okay, so then think back about the situation. You opened your heart up, and they broke your heart. Now, was it all that person's fault that your heart was broken? Did you have a role inside of that played into your heart getting broken? Did you not see the signs of what was going on? Did you realize that you both had a part to play in this? Or were you holding on to something so tight because you wanted it to be real, but it was not real and it was not working, and that person just decided to break it off, but you wanted to keep it going? So I need you to go back, dive deep into it and identify, where did this fear come from? Because it has to be broken. You have to go to the root of it. And some people, I understand, you don't want to go there. Because when you go and try to dive deep into the root of it, it's going to open you back up to whatever that situation was. And if you are not fully healed from that situation, delivered from that situation, it's going to open you up. And there is going to be a lot of pain that comes out of that. There might be hatred that comes out of that. It might be some guilt, some shame, some depression that comes out of that. Some anxiety comes out of that. And we know the fear is going to come out of that. So when you're opening yourself up, or when you decide that you want to dive deep, I suggest that you speak with somebody who's able to support you while you're doing this deep dive. Just like sometimes when I'm going to use this analogy, and I don't know if it's correct, this example, when there's people who do the scuba diving, there's somebody at the top watching over them, and then there's a person down at the bottom. But some people do scuba dive by themselves, which might not be so wise. In this situation, I want you to have that support system, that support person that's there, that's looking over you while you're doing this. Because you might just have a day or a moment where you break down and just cry in a ball because you're trying to figure out what the root of that is. But you need that support person there to be like, okay, I need you to come back. And then I need you to just figure out what it is. I want you to deal with that issue face to face. Deal with the issue face to face. And then I want you to go back and speak positively over that situation. Even if it's something that you have to if you have to forgive somebody and you're like, I don't want to forgive them, but you have to forgive them in order for you to move on. So it's not I'm forgiving them for what they did, what they said. It's I am forgiving them so I can get my peace back. I am forgiving them so I can get my joy back. I am forgiving them so I can get my happiness back and I can move forward, because I need to be able to live. I need to be able to grow. And if I harbor this over me, it's hindering me. It's hindering my growth. And it's keeping an open hole inside of my soul that I needs to be healed. So I want you to think about that for fear. Think about that for fear. I want you to quiet the noise of fear. Quiet it. It should not be speaking to you. Quiet the noise of fear. And you do that through faith in yourself, faith in God, learning the truth, identifying the truth, speaking the truth, and then intentional action. What are you going to do to move forward from that fear? What are you going to do so that that fear will not hold you captive anymore? So I want you to think about those situations. Now, here's a question for you. What fear is holding you back right now? Fear of failure, fear of rejection, success, not being good enough. What is that fear and why is it holding you back? You can drop it in the chat. You can call in 443-267-6558. Now we have, good morning, Nicole. Good morning. I used to be fearful of disappointing others. I love that she said she used to be. That's right, because we're not going to be fearful of that anymore. Now, that is a serious fear, because there are people who they want to have that connection. They want to feel loved, and they feel as though if they say no to an individual, then that person is not going to like them anymore. If they say no, then they feel as though they're breaking a bond with that person that they weren't supposed to break. So, but that's not what's going on right there. When you're saying no because you need your peace in that situation, you're saying no because you found that your time is valuable. You're saying no because you just realize you don't have the capacity to deal with that situation anymore. That is you setting up boundaries. That's you setting boundaries. You're saying that I am going to be more available for myself and less available for the drama or anything that's going on. So, yes, I am glad that you used to be fearful of disappointing others, and you now know that sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes you have to take a retrospect of your life and how things have been going and what it is that you want to see moving forward, and realize that I just got to take this time for me. So, no, I'm sorry. I can't help you right now. I can't be there for you right now. I'm there for you in spirit. I can pray for you, but I just can't be there right at this moment. So, good for you. I am glad for you for understanding that and seeing that. Okay, so now we have the cost of self-doubt. The cost of self-doubt. What is self-doubt? What is self-doubt? Self-doubt is that voice that you hear that whispers to you, you're not ready. You're not qualified. Who do you think you are? That's self-doubt. It whispers to you. Self-doubt leads you to miss opportunities, dream small and not big, and then you have insecurities. Now, for this self-doubt, I'm going to give you the biblical truth for the self-doubt. God has not given you the spirit of fear. God has not given you the spirit of fear. And people always be like, okay, what does that mean? God didn't give me the spirit of fear. God doesn't want you to be fearful. He does not want you to be fearful. When we say that, he does not want you to be fearful. He did not put fear inside of us. It is a natural emotion. But as far as us walking and dwelling in fear, that is not what it is there for. So basically, fear is trying to take over your body like an infection. It's just trying to ooze its way through your body, through your mind, like, oh, I'm going to overtake you to the point that you're going to have to succumb to the sickness and you're just going to have to lie there and die. That's what fear is trying to do to you. So I want you to understand that you were not meant to be fearful. God did not create you to be fearful. He wanted you to have a sound mind. He wanted you to have wisdom, power, and strength. So I want you to think about that. So we're not going to let the self-doubt come in and stop us because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So the insecurities have to go. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The insecurities have to go. So once again, what am I doing right now? I am speaking positivity. I am speaking life. So I need you to do that when the self-doubt comes in and it starts whispering. And right now, as I'm talking about this, I'm thinking about, and I'm gonna always reference old stuff. The little cartoon characters when we were little, they had the little devil on one side, the angel on the other. That's the self-doubt, that little devil that's right there on your shoulder. Knock him off your shoulder. Just pluck him off your shoulder. He can't stay there. He can't stay there. Just pluck him off. That's the fear too. He's always whispering, trying to get you to turn back, trying to get you to run, trying to get you to hide, shut your mouth. So we're not dealing with that. We're not going to be fearful. We're going to walk in our purpose. We're going to walk in our purpose for our lives. Now, I have an assignment for you. I want you to write down one dream or goal you've put on pause because of fear. Write down one dream or goal you put on pause because of fear. Then I want you to ask yourself, what do I do if I fully believe I was equipped for this? What would I do if I fully believe I was equipped for this? Excuse me. So once again, write down one dream or goal you put on pause because of fear. Some people can say that's a lot of stuff. Okay, but I want you to write down just one. Write down that one dream or goal. Then I want you to think about it and say, what would I do if I believed I was equipped for this? And then I want you to take it another step further. I want you to write down why why did I stop? Why did I stop with that dream? Why didn't that dream come into fruition? Why didn't that dream manifest itself or that goal manifest itself? What was it that happened to me that caused me to stop and put the brakes on and pause from that? Good morning, good morning, good morning, Bazemore. How are you doing? I remember you. Good morning. So I want you to stop and think about that. What was the dream? What was the dream? What was the goal? Why did you put the brakes on it? What happened that made you stop? And then I want you to think, if I was fully equipped, what would I do with it? Or where would I be at this moment? Because it might be something that you want to pick back up. It might be something that you want to pick back up that you stopped doing because of fear. And now, since we're growing from fear to faith, and you have that faith in yourself that you can do all things, you have that faith in yourself that you're an overcomer, you have that faith in yourself that you can go out here and succeed, there might be a dream that you want to pick back up or a goal that you want to pick back up. Like, you know what? I put this on pause because I was afraid that people were not going to receive me. I put this on pause because I was afraid that all they were going to do is think about my past. I put this on pause because I felt that I wasn't worthy enough. But now, since you have that faith in yourself and you have everything else that you need to back you up, you might say, I want to pick this up right now and I want to move forward with this. And see, that's where that goal setting comes in that we talked about last week and that I refreshed you on this before we started. So I want you to think about that and see if this is something that you want to do. Now we have what it means to choose faith. What does it mean to choose faith? Faith isn't the absence of fear. So get that in your mind. So if you got faith, that does not mean, oh, I'm not going to be afraid. And that's not what it means. Faith means you're going to persevere even though you're fearful. Because at some point, you're going to keep pushing. And then that fear is going to dismiss itself because it's going to realize it doesn't have any room here anymore. So I want you to think about that. Faith isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to trust anyway. I'm afraid, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm afraid, but I'm going to take that first step. I'm afraid, but no weapon of warfare formed against me shall prosper. So I know I'm going to be all right with this. That's what I want you to think about. So once again, faith isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to trust anyway. And then the thing about this is when you are having faith, even you're having faith in God, you're having faith in yourself, it is showing you and it is showing God that guess what? I'm more than. Because if you're having faith and you're letting yourself see that you're having faith, it builds you up. So for example, if you had plans to do something or you're believing God for, I'm going to say you're believing God for a financial breakthrough. And you have to have faith on that. But in order to you to show God that you have faith on that, you have to be putting in the work. So you're not just sitting there saying, I'm having faith, God. I believe. Yeah, God. No, you still have to put in the work. What are you doing? What are you doing to show God that you are ready for this financial breakthrough? What are you doing? So are you preparing yourself for whatever it is that you're seeking him for? What are you preparing yourself for it? Because you have to prepare yourself. You have to do the work ahead of time. So for example, you have faith in God to get a house. What are you doing to prepare yourself for that house? Are you packing a box and putting it in the corner saying, this is my faith. I'm going to start packing up things. I don't know where I'm moving to. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to pack up these boxes and put them in a corner because this is my faith, my action, speaking, saying I'm believing that I am going to move. If you're having financial money for a business or something, you're going to put in that faith. How are you going to show that you have faith? You're going to start planning your business. You're going to start seeking out the resources. So that way you are moving, you're acting. So you're stepping out in the faith. It might not be here yet, but you're stepping out in it. That is what faith is. You're stepping out, even though that circumstance might not be clear and you can't see it yet. You're still stepping out and you're moving and you're doing something with it. So I want you to think about that for your faith. So faith is trusting God's plan, even when you don't see the full picture. Believing in your identity and your calling. Who are you? Who are you? What is your purpose? What are you here for? We might not know, just like we talked about last week and the week before. You still might not know what your calling is, but you may feel the unction, or you may feel the push to go in a certain direction. So you need to begin to identify who you are and then start moving forward. And then take the next step without all the answers. Take the next step without all the answers. And that is very hard for some people, to take the next step without the answers. Because with this, it's like, I can't see where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. So what am I supposed to do? And that causes a stumbling block for people, because since they can't see it, it's like, I can't go that way. I don't see I can't see the outcome. I can't see what's going to happen, so I can't make that move. But when you have faith, you're going to make that move anyway, and you're going to believe that it is going to happen. That is what faith is. You're making the move anyway, and then you believe that it is going to happen. You're trusting in yourself. You're trusting in God. You're going to make the move and believe that it is going to happen. Okay, so now, here is a positive affirmation for you. I may feel fear, but I walk by faith. I may feel fear, but I walk by faith. And when you're saying I walk by faith, that means I am walking in the decision to trust anyway. So I may feel fear, but I am walking in the decision to trust anyway. I trust that they have my back. I trust that God has my back. I trust that I can do this. I trust that I am capable. I trust that I am fully equipped. Those are the things that you have to think about. So we're not going to let fear stop us from growing, from moving, from becoming the person that we're supposed to be. We're going to have faith, and we're going to do it anyway. We're going to have faith, and we're going to push ourselves to take the next step. And the next step, once again, could be baby steps. We're not saying you're going to go out here and just try to run this race all at once. No, take the next step. Just like for runners. When runners, real runners, when they have a race, they're not going out there on the day of and saying, okay, I'm going to run this race. No, what are they doing beforehand? They're preparing themselves. They're preparing their mind. They're preparing their body. They're preparing everything for this race. So that means mentally, they have to get themselves together. Physically, they have to get themselves together. Spiritually, they have to get themselves together to run this race. Because they know that they have to build up their endurance. They have to build up their strength. And when they're running, they have to be able to push themselves. Are they pushing themselves with the negative talk? Nope. They're pushing themselves with the positive talk. They're saying, I can do this. You got this. Come on, keep going, keep going. Oh, your body might be hurting, but I need you to keep going. Oh, he just passed me, but that's all right. I'm going to make up for it around the curve. Think about those things. So use that for runners. They have to prepare themselves. They're not just coming out there on the day of, I'm going to run this 5K without any kind of prior training. No, you have to mentally prepare yourself. So that's what I want you to do. Even for this fear, turning it into faith, mentally prepare yourself for it. And then I want you to take those steps, figure out those action plans that you're going to make for yourself. And I want you to move forward with it. So that is what I want you to do. Excuse me, guys. Yeah. So that's what I want you to do. Take those next steps, figure out the action plans, and move forward with it. So I may feel fear, but I walk by faith. I may feel fear, but it's the decision to trust anyway. I may feel fear, but it's the decision to trust anyway. Okay, now how to shift fear to faith. How to shift fear to faith. First thing, you might want to write this down. Step 1, identify the fear. Step 1, identify the fear. You can write it down, speak it out loud. I'm afraid that. I'm afraid that. That's what you're doing. Step 1, identify the fear. Step 2, change the lie. Remember, we said we're walking in truth. So fear voice is getting quieted and we're going to walk in truth. So change the lie. Ask, is this true? So whatever that fear is that you spoke, I'm afraid that. Ask yourself, is this true? Or is this a fear based on the story I'm believing? So change the lie. You have to find the truth. Change the lie. And then step 3, replace it with the truth. Replace it with the truth. You can use scriptures. You can use affirmations, past victories to reframe it. So that means past experiences, because we talked about you overcame a lot already in your life. You've overcame a lot. So you can go back and use what you have overcome to reframe that lie. So once again, identify the fear. Write it down. Say it aloud. I am afraid that. Second one, challenge the lie. Ask, is this true? Or is this a fear based on a story I'm believing? And then 3, replace it with the truth. Use scriptures, use affirmations, past victories to reframe it. So here we go. I'm going to give you some examples. Fear. I am not good enough. That's the fear. You're speaking the fear. Challenge the lie. Is this true? Or is this a fear-based story I'm believing? No, it's not true. I only believe this because I have been told many times that I was worthless, stupid, or I can't do anything right. So that is you challenging the lie. You are identifying why it is not true. And then respond. This is a faith response. I am God's masterpiece, equipped for every good work. God's grace is sufficient and his powers made me perfect. Meaning I will embrace my imperfections so that Christ's power can work through me. Or you can say, I am worthy of my own love and acceptance. That is you challenging the lie. That is you responding. So once again, the fear was, I am not good enough. You challenge the lie. No, it's not true. I only think this because I was told this. I was told that I wasn't good enough. I was told that I was worthless. I was told that I was stupid. I was told that I can't do anything. So now I'm going to come back and I am going to change that fear into faith, and I'm going to speak positively. I am worthy of my own love and acceptance. I am capable and resourceful. I can handle challenges. My best is more than enough. My best is more than enough. I am constantly growing and evolving, and that's okay. I am proud of myself for everything I have overcome. I release the need to prove my worth to others. What? Say that again. I release the need to prove myself to others. Stop trying to prove yourself to others. Stop comparing yourself to others. Because a lot of times people compare themselves to others, and these people are going through all this stuff behind closed doors that you have no idea. But yet you're sitting here comparing yourself. I want to be like them. I want to have this lifestyle. You do not know what's going on behind them closed doors. So stop comparing yourself to others. You are your own unique individual. Figure out how you're going to help yourself grow and go ahead and do that. Now, I want you to do this for me. Think of one fear, and then I want you to reframe it with faith. Think of one fear, reframe it with faith. And then very quickly, we're going to say living by faith daily. How can we live by faith daily? Faith is a mindset and a lifestyle. Lifestyle. When you say lifestyle, that means this is every day. This is an everyday thing. This is not, oh, I'm gonna have faith today and I'm not gonna have faith tomorrow. Nope, it don't work like that. You need to have faith every single day. Every single day throughout the day. I have faith. And your faith needs to be built up through prayer, actions, and surrender. Prayer, actions, and surrender. So that is how you need to build your faith up. Prayer, actions, and surrender. Ways to build your faith up is to speak life over yourself daily. You will get tired of hearing me say this. Speak life over yourself. Speak life over yourself. Encourage yourself. Motivate yourself. Second one, surround yourself with faith-filled voices. That means people who are speaking positivity, those who believe and they go out and get things done. Surround yourself with the faith-filled voices. Take small steps even when you are unsure. Small steps, them baby steps, they count. They count. So take those small steps. And then celebrate wins, big or small. I had to learn to do that. That is one thing I had to learn to do because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I did that, but it don't make a difference. Yes, it do. It make a difference because that small win is getting you to the bigger picture. So you need to be able to start celebrating when you accomplish something small. It might be minuscule to somebody else and it might be minuscule to you, but you need to be able to see you did this. You worked towards this. You did this. Celebrate it. Acknowledge it. Even if it's a yay, me, I did this. You need to be able to acknowledge it. Say that again. Comparing yourself to others will only hold you back. Yes, yes, yes. Only hold you back. Stop comparing yourself to others. Yes. And then celebrate those small wins. Celebrate those big wins. People celebrate differently. Yes, I know. But just make sure that you are celebrating yourself. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Now, we have a weekly challenge here. Weekly challenge for 7 days. 7 days. Replace every fear-based thought with a faith-based truth. I'm going to say it again because I'm getting tongue-tied. For 7 days, replace every fear-based thought with a faith-based truth. Write it down. Speak it out loud. You have a fear-based thought? Change it to a faith-based thought. Yes. Fear, no. Faith, yes. Fear, no. Faith, yes. Fear gotta go. Faith, yes. Okay. I had my moment. Then the next thing I want you to do, journal prompt. Where have you seen God's faithfulness in your life before? How can I draw strength from that today? Where have you seen God's faithfulness in your life before? And how can you draw God's strength from that situation today? I want you to think about those two things. And then I want you to work on yourself, improve yourself for the better. Quick recap. Fear is normal, but not as a leader. Don't let it lead your thoughts. Don't let it lead your life. It's normal to have, yes, but not as a leader. Fear is a choice. Faith is a choice to trust beyond what you see. Faith is a choice to trust beyond what you see. And then shifting your thoughts shifts your life. Shifting your thoughts shifts your life. All right, final affirmation for today. I release fear and rise in faith. I trust God's timing, my journey, and the power within me. I want you all to tune in next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about boundaries, saying yes to you. I want you to invite somebody to come out next week. Come listen to me next week. Come sit in on the live next week. Well, not sit in, but tune in via WMEG Radio, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Talk to me in the chat. I will be here. So next week, we're talking about boundaries, saying yes to you. I thank you all for tuning in today. I want to encourage you to re-listen to this, reflect on it, and repeat. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for God is with you. I'm just leaving this with you to help you out. Yes, faith, no fear, yes. Ha ha. Faith, faith, faith. I'm sorry. I'm excited, y'all. For more information about empowering others to excel, you can visit www.eogchangeagent.com. I offer group workshops and independent sessions. So once again, I thank you all for tuning in. Coming up next is the pros and cons of human nature with Nikki. I want you to stay tuned for that. And I just want to say you all have a great day.
Empower others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job.